And welcome to Spirit Works Center for Spiritual Living in Burbank, California. I'm Reverend Christine Green, the interim minister here, and I'm so grateful that you could join us today. Thank you so much. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We are an inclusive, compassionate community that honors all walks of life. Centers for Spiritual Living strives to assist individuals in their evolutionary awareness to the power that lives within them, within each one of us. We encourage everyone to live courageous, fearless lives and be passionate about life and its possibilities by becoming meaningfully involved in service to the world. So I'm so grateful that you could join us today. Please join me as we anchor our time together in prayer. I invite you to take a deep cleansing breath, being present right here and right now. How grateful I am to know that there is just one presence, one power, one life, one infinite source of good. That this presence, this power is the life that radiates through all of humanity, through everything that is seen and unseen. And that this life is the power and the presence that lifts us, surrounds us, and blesses us this day. And so I know our time today is truly blessed. Our time today is filled with light and love, that our hearts are open and willing and ready to receive. And I know that if there is any place of pain, there is peace. And that if there is any place of darkness, there is light. For truly, the power and the presence that is divine is that presence, that life that lives in all of us. And so we are lifted up, surrounded with love. And so I'm grateful for our service, for everyone that comes together to make this possible, for the blessings of Zoom that allows us to come into your home this day. So I'm grateful for all of this good and for so much more, releasing this word with grateful thanks. And together we proclaim, and so it is.
So it is. All right, happy Sunday, everybody. My name is Matt. I'm a practitioner here at Spirit Works, and I'm going to do our announcements for today. So first, Sunday service meditation. If you weren't able to join us at our 10:45 meditation we had Ginny today who gave a beautiful meditation. Feel free to join us any day, any Sunday before service at 10:45 for a 15-minute meditation, then service to follow right at 11. Thursday morning prayer circle is on again for May 20th from 9 a.m. to 9:30, facilitated by Reverend Trish, Dina, and music by Hozu. Also Thursday evenings, Living the Science of Mind book class hosted by Reverend Tricia as well, 6 to 7 p.m. Again, next one is May 20th. Feel free to email Reverend Tricia at the email on the screen to get the current chapter. Suggested donation is just $10. Also Friday Night Love, 7 p.m. this Friday, the 21st, facilitated by Al, Sid, and Alan. And then last announcement, Spirit Works Town Hall meeting. Come join us immediately after service, about noon, after Sunday service next week. Let your voice be heard and wishes be heard about the future of Spirit Works. We're going to be discussing a lot of different topics about Spirit Works, and we need your input. So please be there. And if you can, spread the word to anyone else you know who's affiliated with Spirit Works, that's a member, past member. We'd love to have you. And that concludes the announcements. And now for our identity prayer.
And our identity prayer. I know that within myself there is a life which is perfect, complete, and divine. It was never born and cannot die, for it lives and is God. Within myself is the wholeness, peace, poise, and power of life. This life is health, it is abundance, it is love. There is one life. It is the life of God, and this is my life now. And so it is. Thank you, Josu. That was beautiful. Yes, perfect. Loved hearing from you. That was perfect for today. Thank you. And thank you, Ginny, for the beautiful meditation today. Just totally in alignment with my talk and brought us all to a place of love and connection. So thank you so much. My talk today is Love is the Way. And this past Thursday was the 1 year anniversary of my dad's passing. And because of the pandemic, I was not able to be with my family on the East Coast and not able to be, and there was no service, there was a graveside service. And I was really feeling the loss of not being there at the time and not being with my family. I always appreciated the great conversations I had with my dad. And I I read somewhere that what people that are as we age, what we want to know most is, was my life worthwhile? Did I matter? Did I make a difference to my loved ones? So, whenever I would talk with my dad, I would always tell him, I'm so grateful that you were my dad. I'm so grateful for the times we had. And I would bring up memories. And, and he had a hard life. And I chose to bring up all the joyful memories I could to just remind him of that, because over the years he always remembered the hard things. So in this aging, as he aged, it was like, thank you for all the love you brought me. And this is true of all ages of life. We want to know that we are loved, and we want to know that we made a difference. And we want to know that our love goes out and expresses, and people receive it, and our good is received. There's a scripture from the Gospel of John that says, and so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. So whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. Love is the awareness of my oneness with life. We teach the oneness with life, that we are all one with the infinite, with the divine. And love is that awareness of my oneness with life. Marianne Williamson says, think of the universe itself as a personal love note from God to you. God is love, and in sharing God's love, you share God's power. It is so great to remember. God is love, and I am one with God. There is no separation between me and the presence of God. And love is the awareness of my oneness with life. So we know this. This is our teaching. We live this. Why is it that we forget? Do you ever forget? I know I do. News of world events, our own personal challenges, we easily feel that place of separation. Some days, oneness with God can seem light years away from reality. So, what takes us out of love? There's several things, but I picked three that I know that are true for me and people, my clients that I talk to, and maybe for you. But one thing is self-judgment. When we judge ourselves, our behavior, our how we look, how we think, we believe that we're not enough, we're not smart enough, or capable enough, or qualified enough. We're so busy judging ourselves that we don't take time to appreciate what we have. And then we think, I can't do this. I'm not smart. I'm not capable. I know when I was writing my first book, the thought came up, why would anyone want to read my book? What do I have to say that will make a difference? And every author goes through that. every author has that moment of, really? Why am I doing this? And a friend responded to me and said, you will say in your own unique way and what people need to hear. And so I know that, and so I'm aware of what I say, because oftentimes we say demeaning things to ourselves, those criticizing things to ourselves. And I often ask my clients, would you say those things to your best friend? Probably not. We wouldn't even think of that, but we say it to ourselves. And so our first step is to embrace fully who we are, to love our pain, our wrinkles, our quirks, our mistakes, our miscommunications. I love myself because I am trying. I love myself because I'm willing. I love myself because I am the expression of God through me. Our job is to be willing, and God will take care of the rest. The next place I notice that I keep love separate from me is having any kind of place of resentment. And resentment is when someone did something and we hang on to that. We hang on to that experience and that idea. And I remember when I used to talk to my dad, one time he was telling me about an experience with a neighbor. And the neighbor did something that was dishonest, and it was very hurtful to my dad. And my dad was feeling frustrated and he was feeling pained by the experience. And just like in the moment, living that. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry this happened to you. When did this happen? Was this recent? And he said, no, it happened around 1975 sometime. I thought, oh my gosh, he was sharing it as if it was in this moment, 40 years earlier, but he spoke of it as if it was yesterday. And that's what we do. We hang on to the past. We carry that baggage. And that baggage prevents us from moving forward. We make it we amplify it when we share it with another person. Now I've shared it. Now that person has that experience of what I went through. Now they're feeling my feelings. So we repeat it as if it was yesterday, and it keeps the emotion alive in us. Universal law states whatever you put your attention on increases, right? So as we continue to dwell on the past, we make it real. It increases. The more we repeat, we stay in the past, in the hurt, and it leads us to suffering. And that's the third way that we keep love from us. It's the stories we tell. The stories we tell about how we perceive reality. And it's usually based on our past, on the experiences that we had, on beliefs that we came to believe about ourselves and about our lives. Buddhist teachings distinguish between they have a way of looking at suffering, because what all this does is it brings us to suffering. And Buddhist teaching distinguishes between inevitable suffering and optional suffering. And inevitable suffering is pain that's part of the human condition. We live in the body. We have bodies. We live in the world. So we stub a toe, it hurts, right? We get a paper cut, so painful. I bump my head, I see stars, it really hurts. We experience loss through death, and we grieve. That is inevitable suffering. But then there's something we call optional suffering. And optional suffering is what I tell myself about the hurt. When we react to the experience, if I have pain or illness and say, gosh, what did I do to create this? Or did I do something wrong to have this happen to me? It's the optional suffering is what we're telling ourselves about the suffering. Have you ever been waiting for someone, or perhaps waiting to hear from someone or waiting for something to happen, and people don't show up or they don't respond? I worked with a client recently that was looking for a job, and she answered an ad, and the ad required a response by the first of the month. So she worked diligently to get her paperwork in. There were essay questions and survey questions and the application process, and she worked to make sure that she got it in on time. And what happened? No, she didn't hear a word. And it led her to believe several assumptions. Well, they didn't like me. I think they didn't like me. Maybe I didn't give the right answers. Maybe they didn't like my work experience. And her mind had a field day with making up all the possible reasons why they didn't respond to her. And so our work together was about staying out of that, the dredges, what I call the dredges, where we stay out of that minefield of beliefs, of the stories we're telling ourselves, and about thinking she wasn't good enough. And so she worked to lift herself out of that so she could be at a higher vibration, to be at a higher place. 3 months later, they responded and she got an interview. So she was suffering because of the stories that she made up about why they're probably not responding. Oftentimes what happens is employers will put out an ad and they believe that they are in a hurry. They're in a hurry. They've got to get this position filled. I'm sure many of you have had this experience. We need to fill this position now. So they put out the ad. We need your response immediately. We need it by the first of the month because we're ready to make this. Only to find out as they start to receive responses of, well, we didn't think about this possibility. We didn't think about this question. We're not quite ready. We're not quite ready to bring this person on. And so they have to go through their own internal workings. And that's why we don't hear from them. Not all the reasons that we've made up. And think about that when maybe you don't hear from a friend. Or maybe you didn't get a response from an email. We don't know what's really going on. But be aware of the stories that we tell ourselves. What happens is the story takes us out of the moment, takes us out of mindfulness, and it drops us into emotional conflict. So it's important for us to pay attention to the facts. The facts will keep us in compassion. The story separates me from love. So I can have compassion. I'm feeling left out. I'm feeling hurt. But maybe whoever I'm waiting to hear from, they're going through their own thing. Because here's what we know. The subconscious has dominion over us. In his book, Biology of Belief, Bruce Lipton says, neuroscience has now established that the conscious mind runs the show at best only 5% of the time. It turns out that the programs acquired by the subconscious mind shape 95% or more of our experiences. Wow. All those experiences that are living in storage are the experiences that are running the mind. And then go on to consider that we have about 50,000 thoughts a day, or 35 to 48 thoughts per minute. If the subconscious mind is running the show, that's a lot of unconscious beliefs filling our thinking. And how do we react? With our emotions. And the most prevalent of our emotions is fear. Marianne Williamson says, in fear, we forget who we really are. In forgetting who we are, we forget who lives within us. Forgetting the divine who lives within us, we lose conscious connection to our power. We lose that connection to our power because we forgot, because we're believing other stories. And so how the mind works is that we have personal patterns of thinking and behaving, and they tend to be, on the most part, undisciplined and unconscious. Our mind is kind of a swirling mass of mental blocks and emotional conflicts. So our normal behavior is limiting because it's based on old beliefs from past experiences. And very often we live in fear and we respond to the inner critic of our thinking. And so it's so important to train our minds to quiet the inner critic. It doesn't have to have dominion over us. And the way we do this is through spiritual practice. In spiritual practice, these are spiritual behaviors, and they are superior behaviors. Because when we engage in spiritual practice, there's discipline, order, and balance. When we meditate, read uplifting books, we pray, we connect in spiritual community, we're building a foundation of faith. We are training the mind to be clear in the midst of confusion. And so how do we stay in that experience that God is and I am, and that love is unlimited? Our spiritual practice, meditation, is a powerful tool to keep us disciplined and aware of our thinking. We teach prayer, spiritual mind treatment, knowing that we are one with the infinite presence of God. We study the spiritual readings of the teachers that have been around, that have gone before us, past and current, that are brilliant in sharing spiritual principle, interpreting what the principle means to us. We have classes that we attend, and we connect in spiritual community. And we have spiritual tools, and I want to share a simple spiritual tool that will help you shift from any emotion you may be feeling and bringing your awareness back to love. And it's called the Love Prayer. It's from one of our CSL accredited classes called The Principles of Financial Freedom. And it's based on a premise that if your energy and intention are always devoted to keeping something bad from happening, it cannot be used to create something new. Can you relate to that? If our energy is consistently keeping something away from us, keep that away from me, I'm busy blocking and not receiving. And so it's difficult for me to create something new and better in my life. Think about when you are afraid of something that might happen. You don't know it's going to happen, but it's a possibility. How much energy do we use to keep that away? So, this is the underlying belief, the underlying principles behind this teaching. Whatever you resist will persist and grow stronger. Whatever you accept, you can change. Whatever you bless, you can change for good. So what we resist actually persists. It continues in our life. If we accept change, if we accept the conditions before us, we can change them. Whatever we bless will change for good. So I invite you to think of a situation that may be going on in your life right now. It may be, think of a person that could use more love, or you're having difficulty with, or a situation. So bring up that image of that person or that situation into your mind's eye. And now we're going to practice with our breath. Ginny got us so ready for this in her meditation. But the breath is so powerful to remember that divine circulation. So on the inhale, silently say, I accept you. On the exhale, silently say, I bless you. And now again, on the inhale, silently say, I accept you. On the exhale, I bless you. Once more, keeping this person or situation in front of you, on the inhale, send your energy saying, I bless you. And on the exhale, on the inhale, I accept you. And on the exhale, I bless you. And bring your awareness back. Now, you can use this if there's someone you are having difficulty with, maybe someone you want to connect with and you're not hearing from, maybe someone that you're feeling angry with, or someone that you don't agree with. You could be suffering over a situation in your life where you're feeling stressed. You can silently bring this prayer to your awareness and connect it to your breath. As you do this, once your mind has quieted down, see if you can hold your attention steadily on that person or situation. If your mind starts to wander, bring it back using this technique. The students and clients I have shared this tool with have told me so many amazing results of where they were afraid of something and it brought them back to peace, or they were feeling separate or resentful and it brought them back to love, simply by acknowledging, I accept you and I bless you. And it's connected with the breath that is that divine circulation of giving and receiving, of reception and release. So when we have the foundation of spiritual practice, and this is what we teach at Centers for Spiritual Living, we have a foundation for spiritual practice. We can become the observers of the mental blocks and emotional conflicts from the past. We can uncover our hidden beliefs that keep us stuck. We can bring them into the light for healing. We can observe ourselves, how we are reacting to the world around us, and notice, am I reacting to the world, or am I reacting to my old beliefs? Really important time to have that awareness in the world that we live in. As we build and develop these tools, we have the opportunity to release old behaviors and to free ourselves from what we call optional suffering. And in doing that, science teaches us that we're creating new neural pathways in the brain. When we practice consistently, we're creating these neural pathways in the brain. We do this work because it brings us back to love. And author Brené Brown teaches us in her book, Gifts of Imperfection, love is not something we give or get. It is something that we nurture and grow. It is a connection that can only be cultivated between two people when it exists within each one of them. We can only love others as much as we love ourselves. I love that. We cannot extend that love until we love ourselves. And our work, this is our work in our teaching, is to build that compassion within ourselves, build that awareness within ourselves of peace, of love, of harmony. There has never been a more important time than now to have this experience of love. This is a time for us to develop a stronger spiritual practice and faith that keeps us grounded in the principles, grounded in faith. We are seeing a world around us that continues to be in chaos. The violence in Israel, the continued pandemic in India, to our own pandemic and what we're working through, that our own political unrest in our own country. We have our own inner fears and conflicts. We know that this is a world that works for everyone, and where it starts is within each one of us. I can't expect my neighbor to be different if I'm not standing in love. I can't expect results out in the world if I'm not doing my part. Love is the way. And we are so blessed to grow and study together in teaching a world that works for everyone. We are blessed with the tools and the practices that keep us centered in love. We're blessed to know that love is at the center of every activity. Every idea begins with the idea of love. And how wonderful that we have spiritual community in which we can learn and grow together in faith. How powerful it is to have this opportunity. I really invite you to attend the town hall meeting next Sunday, to come and have your voice be heard about the future for this beautiful community, Spirit Works. That this community is an opportunity to grow together in faith, to grow and celebrate our wins and grieve together our losses. And so come and have your voice be heard about what's possible and what's happening next for us in this community. Wherever you are on your spiritual path, you can bring your awareness and your attention back to love. Wherever you are welcome here, and together we will find our way individually and collectively connecting with love. The title of my talk, Love is the Way, comes from the talk that Bishop Michael Curry gave at the royal wedding of Meghan and Prince Harry. And I so connected with this vision in his talk, with this awareness. And so I will read this and then move into our closing prayer together. And I invite you to be present for this reading, to allow yourself just to close your eyes and go within and use his words to bring you to this uplifting place of love. Take a breath. Think and imagine a world where love is the way. Imagine our homes and our families when love is the way. Imagine neighborhoods and communities where love is the way. Imagine governments and nations where love is the way. Imagine business and commerce where love is the way. Imagine this tired old world when love is the way. When love is the way, unselfish, sacrificial, redemptive, when love is the way, then no child would go to bed hungry in this world ever again. When love is the way. When love is the way, we will let justice roll down like a mighty stream and righteousness like an ever-flowing brook. When love is the way. When love is the way, poverty will become history. When love is the way, the earth will become a sanctuary. When love is the way, we will lay down our swords and our shields down by the riverside to study war no more. When love is the way, there's plenty good. There's plenty room for all of God's creation. Because when love is the way, we actually treat each other, well, like we are actually family. When love is the way, we know that God is the source of us all, and we are brother and sister, children of God. Brothers and sisters, that's a new heaven, a new earth, a new world, a new human family, when love is the way. And let's take this into prayer, knowing that love is the center of life right here and right now. Love is that divine expression flowing in and through and as each one of us. Love is that presence and power, that goodness, that is that radiating, illuminating, emanating presence moving through each one of us, through every activity, through every cell, fiber, tissue, gland, organ, nerve, and bone of our bodies. Love is the presence and the power. Love heals. Love is redemptive. Love is creative. Love answers every request, every prayer, every opportunity. Love is the peace. Love is the presence. Love is the way. And so I know that as we have come together this day in spiritual community, we have been lifted up in love, and that love continues to bless us, to lift us, to surround us. In whatever is needed, love has an answer, and whatever we claim for ourselves, it is already known in the mind of God. And so I know that love surrounds and blesses us as we go out into the world with peace, with harmony, with the presence and the power of love. And so I'm grateful for our time together. I'm grateful for every beloved that is here today or watching this on YouTube, that together we know the power and the presence of the infinite that is divine, that is love. And so I give thanks for all that has been given and for so much more that is yet to be revealed. And I release this word with deep gratitude and deep love. And together we proclaim, and so it is. And so this is our time of conscious giving. We are so grateful for every gift that is given. Your financial gifts enable us to continue. They have enabled us to continue through this pandemic. And now as we get together and the newness that is being revealed each week, each day, that your gifts make this possible. And every gift given makes a difference in someone's life. Whether it's someone who hears this message for the first time or someone that has been doing this work for many years and taken many classes, that each day is a new day and we learn something new that makes a difference in our lives. So thank you for your gifts that you can give through our website, spiritworkscsl.org, or you can mail in your tithe. However you choose to give, we are truly blessed and grateful for your generosity. And so taking the intention of your gift in your heart, in your mind, let us say together our prosperity prayer. God is the source of all supply. Money is God in action. Whatever I give, I receive multiplied abundantly. All that God is, I am, and so it is. Thank you so much. And now for some music. Thank you, Josu and Abe. That was wonderful. Thanks so much. Great to have you with us. If you would please join us after the service for our chat. And if you would like prayer with a practitioner, our practitioners are here to serve you. And so just send a message to in the chat. Just put your name in there that you would like prayer, and you will be connected in a breakout room with a practitioner. And so thank you again for joining us today. Again, please join us for the chat immediately following the service. And thank you for your time, your attention, and your willingness to be with us today. We so appreciate it. And so I just give thanks for the blessing of this day. I know we go out and our hearts and minds are open and willing and to receive all that love has in store for us this day. And so it is. Thank you so much.